back to Fountain of Youth TV. Today our topic is nasal cleansing. This is something that's really important, and I have found for over the past 30 years it's one of the key elements to why I really never have sinus infections. Yes, I have a really healthy diet, I have a great healthy lifestyle, but I also equate it to using the Neti Pot. Now, it's one of the oldest forms of nasal irrigation, and it originated in India. Now, the word neti comes from the ancient Indic language of Sanskrit, and the word jala means water, and neti is guiding or cleansing, and you put the two of them together and you end up with water cleansing. And I just think it's kind of fun to have that knowledge. So if anyone ever says to you, a neti pot, what does it mean? Say, well, it's jala neti, meaning water cleansing. So there's that bit of information. So this is my favorite neti pot that I use. It's one of the most purest, cleanest kind out there. When I say that, it means it's not going to leach like lead and that kind of contaminant. I really wish I could find it in glass, and I've contacted the Simax glass company that makes my cookware, and hoping that maybe one day they'll maybe come out with a glass version that's pure and clean, and I'll keep you posted on that. But with that said, this is the version I like, and it's called Ancient Secrets. This is how it comes. Okay. And you can get this in a pharmacy, health food store, drugstore, and just look around, ask the pharmacist, maybe they'll have it in the back. You'll see different versions, but they'll see them in plastic. But again, this is one of the most cleanest and purest that I've found. Then you also can look for the accompanying salt that goes with it. Yes, you need salt. I don't think using table salt is really wise. You don't want anything with iodine in it, so non-iodized salt. Just look for the pure kind. I do like this because it's just very fine, easy to disintegrate and dissolve into the water, and it's just important. But you're probably wondering, well, why do you need salt? Salt is because, think about your tears. If you've ever tasted tears, it's very salty. So you want your saline solution to be very similar to that of the body fluids that we have, and that's kind of helps. So you can kind of adjust it to your what you feel is best, and you can kind of tell by when you're putting it in up your nostril into your sinus. If it's smooth feeling and it just feels very, very soothing, then it's the perfect amount of salt you're using. But if it's a little stinging, lessen up on it. Don't use as much. But to me, a quarter teaspoon, and you'll see as I'm doing it when I start to mix it, a quarter teaspoon in every 8 ounces is perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. Temperature-wise, with your water, you want it to be like your body temperature. So test it. Just stick your finger in it. Make sure you wash your hands before you test your water. You don't want to add any kind of bacteria into your sterilized water. And we'll kind of talk about this as we go along. Just enjoy this, and just remember that as you're using this, it's not something I do for myself every day. It's only when I feel I need to. I think sometimes some people overuse the Neti Pot if they're using it 3-4 times a day. Even every day I don't, because I think that the membranes are very sensitive in our sinuses, in our nose, in the nasal passage, and I think that we can disrupt the healing properties that they already have, and we don't want to irritate any more than we have to. So only use it really when you need it. I might use it maybe once a week, and especially if I've been outside working in the yard, or if I feel that maybe I might be coming down with something because I'm around children in my kindergarten classroom, and there's a lot of coughing and sneezing going on. I might just feel maybe I need to irrigate, but I don't want to use it every day because, again, I just think it may hinder and disrupt our body's natural way of cleaning our system. But it is a great, helpful asset, and it's been so beneficial in my life and my daughter's lives, and we have not had to be on any kind of medication or antibiotics whatsoever, and in their entire life, and probably at least in 35 years of my life. Just a little quick story of how I came to be informed about how to use this. Over 35 years ago, at the beginning of my opera career and my modeling and pageantry and all of that, I was having to eat a lot of so-called junk food to keep my weight on, because I because I'm very active and my metabolism is really fast, so you was eating the dairy, and I, yes, had to eat ice cream and hot fudge sundaes every night before I went to bed, and Rox is like, woo, to keep my weight on, because I could lose weight so quickly, and any of the gowns that were designed for me wouldn't fit, and so I was always having to eat before I went to bed. But that was always also giving me a lot of ailments, and one of the ailments I was getting was a lot of sinus infections, and as an opera singer having to perform, that's not good, because then it's always draining down the back of your throat, going into your lungs, and it was just not doing well for me. So I was going to my ear, nose, and throat specialist, and he was phenomenal, and he was incorporated a lot of natural techniques rather than using medication, my kind of guy, and he introduced me to using saline up the nose, and it was kind of shocking when I first heard him. I put water up my nose. I thought, oh my goodness, it's me like drowning. But when I went home and tried it, it was amazing. It was so cleansing, and I know it sounds kind of yucky, but you would see a lot of stuff going down into the sink that was actually draining out of your sinuses, and you could see why there would be blockage and how it could become an infection and how it could go down into the lungs. You're just literally taking it out, and more than even just blowing can do. And not only does it help for sinus infections, but it also helps for example, when we're outside working all the time in the summer, for mowing, working in the gardens, raking the lawns. If you're a carpenter and you're sanding, all that dust gets up inside of your sinuses. If you're a construction worker, think of all that's going up inside. Even smokers. I've had smokers come to me who have even quit years earlier, and I've demonstrated to them how to use it, and they were like taken aback how much of the tar and nicotine was literally embedded up in their sinuses and was coming out as they were flushing their sinuses. They had no idea, and they were wondering why they were having so many headaches all the time, taking medication, when really it was just everything all stuck solidly up inside of there. It truly is an amazing, amazing process. There is a learning curve, and as we go through the process today, I hope you'll investigate this for yourself and give it a try. Don't just kind of say, oh, it's not for me. It's an amazing, very easy, cheap price. Again, $14, $16, $20, depending on where you get it from. It's a great investment, and I've had mine for years. The girls all have their own, and they've been doing it since they were little tiny girls. Never had an antibiotic, never been sick, and I really do think it's really because we do use the Neti Pot. So come on over here and I'll show you what we do. First thing, you want to make sure that your Neti Pot is always clean. The way I sterilize it is I use hydrogen peroxide. Again, because you don't want to introduce any bacteria into your sinuses. So I just spray it down really, really good with some hydrogen peroxide, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then I wash it with some hot soapy water and rinse it really well, and that's how I do that. Okay? Always cleanliness is best. What I don't use tap water because our tap water has so many chemicals that have been added to it. I don't think that's really wise to put that up inside of our sinuses. You might want to be able to maybe use either distilled water. I collect my own spring water, so I do use that. So what I do is, it's 8 ounces. I do maybe 4 ounces on one side and then 4 ounces on the other. Depending on if you're really clogged up there, you might have to use a full Neti Pot, a full 8 ounces on each side. So it's up to you. So I'm going to pour this in, and we're going to get our 8 ounces. I put in a little bit more if I'm just going to do like a one serving, because if it evaporates, you want to make sure you're getting the full 8 ounces. Another thing I like to do is to actually boil my water. It takes all the potential microbes or bacteria that are in the water, and I boil it down, and I do like a 7-day supply. And your boiled water will last for 7 days, sterilized water, in the refrigerator. And so then you don't have to say, oh, it's just too much of a hassle. You'll just do it in advance, and so that does make it easier. So I have a lot of glass bottles sitting around, and that's what I use this for. So here we go. We're going to boil it. And we'll get back to you in a minute after we boil it. I'm going to let it cool down to the temperature that I like it, and we'll get to that in a minute. So the water's come to a boil. I let it sit for a while to get down to my perfect temperature. You want to kind of test it with your finger. You'll know exactly. Some people like it just room temperature. I like it just a little bit warmer than room temperature. To me, it just feels more cleansing. and more moisturizing. So that's, if you do the 7-day, you want to make sure you take it out in advance and let it sit out so that it will come to room temperature. If it's been in the refrigerator, it's going to be cold, and that's, you don't want cold water going up there, and plus it won't dissolve the salt that you're going to be adding to it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour it over. I love this pan. It's got the little spout on it. Isn't it adorable? And then I'm just going to pour it over my measuring cup, because sometimes I do tend to spill, and Rox will tell you I can be a klutz at times. And there it goes on right there. Okay. Then I add the salt. It also helps in the irrigation process and to help keep it cleaned out up there. Isn't this cute? This is it comes in the little container. It's a 1/4 teaspoon, the perfect amount for 8 ounces. If you put too much in, it can burn. It can burn, and you'll learn that in your learning curve. Then I stir it up. And now we're ready to go. So let's go into the bathroom. So here we are. You come into your bathroom, and this is where my Kleenex. You're going to need Kleenex to kind of blow everything out once you're done. So when you take your little special neti pot with the little spout, it's going to perfectly fit up your nostril, and then you're going to lean over and you're going to tilt. Watch the tilt of your arm, the tilt of your head, and your chin as I'm doing it. Just kind of mimic what I'm doing. It's going to go up, clean out your sinuses, and it's going to come out and then run down through as you're tilting your head, and it will come out through this nasal passage and right out your nostril into the sink. And you'll do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of watch. I keep my mouth open to breathe through my mouth. When you get used to it, you won't really have to adjust your chin, but that's, if you feel it going down the back of your throat, okay, that means you need to adjust your chin. You probably have to bring your chin in more. So I'll just kind of point to it and you can see what I'm doing. But it's a learning curve. Practice with it. Don't give up. If it starts going down the back of your throat, or if it doesn't come out, it means it's really like impacted in there. And you may have to do it a couple times. You may have to maybe do a full pot, and it may not come out, and then do maybe 10 more minutes later or half an hour later. Just keep doing it, and eventually it will purge your sinuses. It will come out. Don't give up. It does work. And the more you do it, it'll just flow, just like you'll see how mine is. Here we go. Kleenex always comes in handy. Again, notice, watch my mouth is always open. At the end, I blow it out. I just go, and it blows out whatever's left inside. Still cleansing. Here we go. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple, but just watch your chin. That really is a key factor in lifting your arm up and the tilt of your head, all of that. But eventually you won't even have to think about it. After 2 or 3 times, you'll become a pro at it. So as soon as you're done using your neti pot, you want to make sure you rinse out your sink really well. When I use it, there's not a lot of things coming out. It's pretty clean. You saw it, just plain water coming out. But you may find some pretty nasty things coming out. And you want to make sure to respect the person using the bathroom next and rinse out your sink. Always a good thing. So I hope that this was informative and educational for you. I gave you a little history on it and how beneficial it's been for all of us. And Rox, I know she can attest to how well it works, and my daughter Alexandra. And so I just give this a try and implement this really natural way of keeping your sinuses clean, and then you won't have to be on antibiotics. You'll feel so much better, and it's just a great product. So thanks for joining us today here on Fountain of Youth TV, and remember, take charge of your health destiny. You can do it. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.